And we need to do the same thing for our startup script. I'm just going to throw this in a scope because I want to catch any duplicate variable names. Alright, so if the startup script does not equal null, then I need something. So the startup scripter is going to be a specific thing. Where is that? So it's tools, script, startup, yeah. And is this... Yeah, okay, we're fine. You still keep your... Oh yeah, I kept working there for quite a while. I left last year after being there for 3 years. So it's one of those things I look back on. I'm just like, how in the hell did I not quit this job in the first week? Because it never got really better. Everything was always just like, oh man, people making horrible decisions. I don't know. I have a lot of stories from working at Amazon. I think my favorite one is... So, I was on the server platform team with like 2 other guys, and we always sat in the same area, and we were kind of segregated from everybody else because you didn't really have to talk to us very often. We kind of did our own thing, and for the entire time I was there, like people would just get sick all the time. Just like I've never worked in an office where people got sick so damn much as there. And it was basically because people wouldn't wash their damned hands after they went to the restroom. Like, I swear to God, there was one time I, caught one of the people who just doesn't wash their hands. Like, you're sitting there, doing your thing at a urinal, some dude rushes in, does his business, and then, just runs out the door. And you're just like, hey, buddy, get back here. Like, oh, sorry, yeah, wash your hands, heathen. It's like, oh, I forgot. I'm like, you don't forget to wash your hands. Like, it's not something you forget because it should be so ingrained that if you're on autopilot, you just do it and then go. It's just automatic. It's like a reflex. Like, somebody throws a ball in your face. Usually you don't just have no reaction. Usually you try to do something to prevent that thing from colliding with your face. It's just standard shit. But yeah, so the thing is, everybody else in the office got sick except for the 3 people, me and the rest of the dudes on my team, because we never were interacting with many people very often. And of course, all 3 of us washed our fucking hands. Well, the thing is, you say that, but what ended up happening was, the office manager caught wind of all this, shenaniganry that go down, and so got hand sanitizer and put it everywhere. Every conference room had a thing of hand sanitizer in it. They put a little stand right outside the restroom with hand sanitizer, and they put hand sanitizer stuff right next to the sinks, in the restroom. And what would happen is people would it made it worse because people wouldn't wash their fucking hands. They just use hand sanitizer. So they just go grab the hand sanitizer and do a really shitty job of college try of doing that, but they would never actually wash their hands. And I'm just sitting there just like, Jesus Christ, good job, guys. You put the dirtiest object, a nice little dirty object in every single room, in every conference room and table. Also, this really pissed me off. At one point, we're working on a game project, and everybody needed a controller. So they bought the shitty knockoff Logitech Mad Catz controller for everybody to use on their PCs. because it saved an extra like $5. It didn't even save that much. It just saved like an extra $5 per head instead of like an Xbox 360 controller, like a reasonable person. So we had an entire, studio of developers who are going to be working on a game that needs an Xbox controller, and that everybody in the whole fucking world has Xbox controllers. And no, we're working with these crappy Logitech, piece of garbage knockoff controllers. And it's like the definition of stupid, because we need to have the same problems as our customers. Like, just that sort of thinking just permeated in that office. Anyway, so the startup script path is going to be this startup script here. I need to stop ranting so much. Yeah, I mean, there are studies and all that stuff about, like, hand sanitizer does kill lots of stuff, but it's, like, the physical act of, like, there's more than just, like, killing shit on your hands that's important for washing your hands. Like, not only do you need to... managers are the root of all corporate evil. Yeah, people, what a bunch of bastards. But you actually need to, like, rub your two hands together and get all that junk off of it. Because just killing the stuff on the outside doesn't really... it'd be like if you had a plate that you're going to eat off of that was covered in, like, old stuff. Like, if you had, like, some ketchup and it just, like, solidified, right? And so you're like, to serve dinner, you just, like, go dip that in some hand sanitizer and then just put all the food on it. You just be like... But there's still, like, a layer of, like, dried ketchup and nasty shit in there. You're like, don't worry about it. It's clean. Like, I think I want to leave. Alright, so we got a strip path, we got a remote path. The remote path is going to be our startup script there. Plus the script path name. So we'll do that, templatize it, move it out there. Alright, cool. So theoretically, we should be able to do things, though. So theoretically, I can test this tool out real quick and see if it actually does what the hell we need it to do. So let's get our debug context. So I need to specify a project and all the rest of this shit. Service deployment, before root. I need the project equals Dashkin, environment equals test, instance type equals, what is it? Instance type is full stack. We've got the application type. The application type is Dashkin full stack. And I think that's everything. So let's watch this fail. It kills germs and bacteria, it doesn't kill viruses. But viruses aren't alive. And I would disagree. Managers are not the root of all corporate evil. They're just the person who can completely screw up your life. Because I've worked with pretty good managers at corporations. It is always your manager. That, like, if you're going to have a bad time, it's going to be some selfish asshole manager. Like, a good example of selfish asshole managery was, like, at one point, there was, like, problems with team cohesion, with communication. Like, one, left hand didn't know what the right hand is doing. So what they wanted was the managers to make sure everything got communicated across teams, so if something needed to be done, that somebody was working on it. So they're like, okay, well, we have these morning stand-ups where everybody in their small teams gets together for a couple minutes and talks. So we're going to have the manager. What is this error? Alright. So we're going to have the manager go around to every single one of these meetings. So, of course, all these all these meetings now have to be moved so that the manager can make it to all the meetings. So what usually was like 10 o'clock, you know, everybody was there. Everybody in the entire studio had their meeting at the same time in all their separate pits. And, you know, then kind of everybody started their day at the same note. So now the manager needs to go to everything. So a lot of people in the studio, their sub teams kind of had their meetings at their own times. Like some teams got in, you know, like 9 in the morning. And some teams got in at 11 or whatever the hell, you know, that was convenient for them. And of course, the core hours for the studio started exactly at 10. So the manager didn't want to show up until 10. Like, you know, we're saying like, okay, like, can we get, you know, we do our stand up at like 9:45 because we like to have meetings with external teams at 10 sometimes. You know, it's like, nope, I'm not going to be there 15 minutes early. It's like, so you change the entire goddamn team around the whims of one person who doesn't want to come in 15 minutes earlier to prevent all of the workers doing all the damn work. You know, we're going to interrupt all of them so the manager person can then, of course, not show up to any of the damn meetings. Like, this manager did not show up to any of the meetings that they were scheduled to do because they're always too busy to do all the stand-up. So it's just like, good job, manager. Make everybody. I'm not salty about this at all. All right, unterminated array at line 28. Yeah, it was pretty shitty. And the thing is, I made a big deal about it, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, you can't just move all this around. And like, some of the other managers didn't think it was important. And I'm like, guys don't get it. Alright, unable to find data for Dashkin test, Dashkin full stack. Alright, well, let's figure out why. Report that shit? Oh, yeah. I told everybody on my team that we were going to start our meeting at exactly 10. Like, regardless of if they got there or not. And we were going to wrap it up within, like, 2 minutes. And just be, like, done. And that way, it only took, like, a week. And then the manager never showed up again. So we stopped caring about it. So, you know, basically, like, malicious compliance. Like, oh, yeah, we'll have the meeting. You know, and then we're gonna strictly adhere to the rules of, you know, like, you don't show up on time, we don't wait whatsoever. Alright, so we have one environment test, and that one environment has no types in it. Alright, so load from directory, environments, test / types. Alright. So we've got our file, which is this thing. There's no types in there, so this... Oh yes, because it needs an S. Yeah, it was nice having me as like a manager of a team there for people who are under me, because I would just go after people. Like, if there was something pissing us off or causing problems, like, I gave no shits about running over to somebody and being like, dude, hey, cut it out. Like, it's just funny how much shit you can get away with. in a corporate environment. Like, if you're actually willing to, like, just tell people, like, no, that's not okay. And you don't have to play nice all the time. Alright, so we have an error inside of the threads, journal exception deploying to service. I did not print out the message. Host must not be null. What is this? Oh god, I never set the fucking host name. Yeah, well that's a good point. Alright, remote host is going to be instance.getPublic DNS name ftp.with remote port, and just on the SSH port 22. Deploying. Alright. Deploy to instance. Alright, so load from thing here. Alright, so we have the project. Set this thing up there. Add a null because the chain was broken. Alright, so we're mirroring out, deleting destination items, making /artifact, uploading artifact, uploading build JSON. You need to learn how to code. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Alright, so we are, this is Dashkin test. I'm looking at my thing here, so we got Dashkin full stack, got our deployment ID, artifacts, dash services. The artifact made it out there, so we got that out there. We have our build and everything else. Alright, and then we errored out. Alright. General exception, the path services login HTML does not exist. Alright. P4 root plus local path. Alright, so it was services www.auth. Does P4 root always end in a slash? Is that what I did with that? Yeah, it always ends in a slash. Yeah, coding's a great thing to know, and especially if you're ever concerned about having a job. Like, there are just never enough engineers. Alright, so we're going to upload this stuff to this deployment. So we gotta let it do its thing. The path services www.auth login doesn't exist as a file. Alright, let's... Project services www.auth. Well, it's because it's not. It's in templates. And there's a lot of magic stuff that's happening behind the scenes here, which is pretty cool. Like, I'm using this FTP libraries and all these sorts of things that I wrote a very long time ago. Alright, so we got our service with our artifact. We're waiting on that. Error in templates. Alright, error in templates cannot be cast to free marker resource. I'm gonna go watch. Alright. Well, thanks for sticking around, Hojikono. Have a good one. So let's see. What is this thing? So what is this object? It is templating data structures. So why exactly is this thing getting all freaked out? Wait, I already have a string templater. I already have a string templater. It's right here. I need to get rid of this garbage. Alright, so we need string data equals wd file utils.read file is string file path if data equals null, file new exception, able to read file path as string. Alright, well that's better. So string templater is the thing that we want to use. That's what happens when it's been a while since you've actually used any of this code. You forget that you already have solved your problems. So I don't think these folders actually do anything here. Well, theoretically, we succeeded in doing stuff. Alright. Uploading script path. So let's add some debugging because I want debugging for this sort of stuff. Alright, why didn't we get our folder data? It's because it's folders, not folder. Files, scripts, everything. Excellent. So I'm just cleaning up these older deployments that failed. And what we should see when this is done is we should see all the files at least in the right spot. I don't see the startup script get put out there though. Oh, okay, startup.shell is there. And the remote root is going to be script path. We should change this. This should be it should be a different name. It should be unique. It should be like project in blah startup.shell. Alright, so I have string remote startup name, and that's going to be let's just have like some underscores in here. And if ftp.is get remote OS. So if it's Linux, then remote startup name plus equals .shell. Otherwise, remote startup I don't think we're gonna have any Windows servers, but we'll just throw it in there just because we can. So what we should see is we should see all of our files get to the right spot, and we should see our files are going to be wrong, of course, but they should at least be on the right spot and they should all be present. Alright, so if we refresh this folder, we've got our scripts, start, stop, status, restart, we've got our files, we've got like, all of our files that we would expect to exist. And if we go to our startup, we see our Dashkin test, Dashkin full stack .shell script, which is of course empty. So all of our files are in the right spots. So the next thing we need to do is implement this stuff and figure out the symbolic links. But I think I'm pretty much done. I've been working a lot of other stuff today, so I think I'm gonna cut it short. It's gonna be a shorter stream than most of them. I've only been online for a couple hours. But oh yeah, exactly. You're like, nah. I could be convinced to stick around and do some more work, but I don't know. I don't really want to. So fuck it, I'm not going to. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna do some other things. But I kinda wanna also just get this done today. So I'm getting distracted talking to Twitch. So thanks for sticking around, and I hope you guys all have a good one. I am going to keep working on this, but I kind of need to just get it finished, so I'm going to concentrate on that. So enjoy the rest of your day.